Welcome to the American Grown Podcast, hosted by Austin Sullivan. The American Grown Podcast will focus on people from different walks of life and their journey to where they are now. Now, turn up your volume and settle in for a great episode.
Hi, I'm Austin Sullivan. This is the American Grown Podcast, recorded inside the ColorTech Creative Solutions Studios. Today, we have Sammy Diaz. He is a published photographer and videographer. Sammy, welcome to episode 25 of the American Grown Podcast.
Happy to be here, man.
Thank you for getting up this morning. I appreciate it. I think you're like one of the earliest guests to come on the show, like in terms of time of day.
Man, I'm feeling every second of that this morning. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So I greatly appreciate it. And it was actually Sadie Eisenhower, who was on in episode 3, the Killer Queen of Cakes. She's the one that recommended we get in touch.
Super dope. First off, shout out to Sadie. Everything she's accomplished thus far in her career. Super dope person. I've known Sadie and that entire family for quite a while. They were a huge part of my upbringing. Because so my family during that time didn't really come out and support me in sports and stuff like that. So it was a lot of other families in the community that really supported me. So that was a big time in my life where like the Eisenhowers and the Thomases and people like that really came out and supported me. So that was pretty dope with them. So I've known them for quite a while.
No, it's awesome. And in that episode 3, she had mentioned that you were there, or you were part of coming up with the name Killer Queen of Cakes. Do you recall that at all?
100%.
So what's your take on the story?
So me and Sadie, so one thing about me is if I believe in what you're doing, I like to just breathe life into it.
Yeah.
I support it 1,000%. Anytime you doubt yourself, I just knock that doubt out the window. It's like, no, like we're about to do this. If you're serious, we're going to do it. So with her, we found a common ground where we both loved Freddie Mercury, the band Queen.
Yeah.
Everything about their music. If you don't like Queen, like, do you really like music?
Doing?
Do you really like music?
Right.
So if you recall, like they had that one song, Killer Queen. Everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I heard it the one day and I'm like, Killer Queen of Cakes, like it just works.
Right.
And I sent her the idea. I drew up a design on my software and sent her the idea, and she was like, "This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen." So we should have just ran with it.
No, it's perfect. I mean, it's a great fit, and especially for Sadie, I'm going to be honest, such a badass, like for real. Between the dirt bikes, motorcycles, and making some awesome cakes and cupcakes, like they are delicious. So tell us about your journey from Lebanon County to becoming Sammy from Miami.
Yeah, so I was actually born in Hershey, raised in Lebanon. I am one of 6 children. Shout out my parents. They were getting busy back in the day. Yeah, went to Lebanon High, played basketball since the age of, first time I picked up basketball was age 3. Played all the way up until I graduated college. Ran track as well. So during middle school in Lebanon, there was a program called the LVC Partnership Program.
Okay.
Which was Lebanon Valley College. They would take students who were, how do I put this, sort of on the right path, and they wanted to throw a little bit extra support to them.
Okay.
So they would have them go to Lebanon Valley where they would meet, college students, and these students would take them through campus, teach them about adulthood and things like that. And it got to a point where they ended up giving out scholarships.
Okay.
And that was the reason that I went to Lebanon Valley, where I played basketball, ran track, really got into the art side of my life. Because when you go to college, it's like you go there, you go to the party. It's like, let's be real. You go to college to party.
Make friends.
Exactly. College throws all these classes at you, and it really, really hit me. And I was like, this ain't for me. What really kept me going was the art side of everything. So I wouldn't work normal hours, like on projects, on, reports, whatever it was, because I felt like I was getting too distracted during class time or during the day. So my work hours in college were from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., which are weird hours, but it's like everyone's asleep or partying, so the studios are completely empty. Now my creativity comes out, so it sort of just jumped to that. It's my life is just it's been a lot of everything. So for about 10 years of my life, I was a chef.
Okay.
Which a lot of people don't know or they might know. That journey of my life is really what led me originally to Miami. Two friends of mine that I had in college were big on buying into businesses, and they bought into a cafe on South Beach, and they were looking for like a person to run it. So they reached out to me because they knew how invested I was into that field, and they flew me down. They showed me around. They sold it. They sold it, and I'm like, without hesitation, it's like Miami. Like, why would you not want to jump down there?
You can't
like,
lose. Yeah.
You grow up in Lebanon, and it's like now you get a chance to literally walk to the beach in 3 seconds.
Perfect.
I'm like, hell yeah, like let's do it. Little did I know, these people didn't know anything about running a business. So I'm running this cafe, and I'm taking care of like these 4 employees, and then all of a sudden, it's like these people stop responding to me. And like money stops coming in.
Whoa, it's
and
like you're on an island.
Yeah. And then it gets to a point where like I'm no longer looking after me. Like I have to find a way to pay like these employees because they're not sending anything.
Whoa.
So I start paying employees out of pocket. Like it puts me in a really bad place. And I'm like I can't keep doing this. So like I drop off this company, cut off communication with these people because you just don't do that to people, man. I ended up picking up a camera, not even a camera. I first started shooting with a cell phone.
What do you remember? What phone?
It was like an iPhone 6.
Oh wow, so way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
This is like 27, early 2017, like early 2018, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
So down in Florida, one thing I did, like I read people very, very, very quickly, and you just don't burn any bridges at all. One thing I don't do, I don't burn any bridges. I keep good rapport with everyone. So I started shooting with a very famous personal trainer. Shout out Tony Thomas in Florida. Trains, athletes that play for the Heat, Dolphins, like across the board.
Okay.
Works for Puma, Celsius. He told me, he was like, dude, I'm about to host this workout. Can you like record me?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, for sure, no problem. Little did I know, there was like this French national television station recording what we were doing. I ended up getting interviewed.
What?
We ended up getting on like their national television channel. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So then that's sort of what propelled like my journey with like the whole videography photography thing. It didn't necessarily start when I grew up. Like there was a lot of other chapters in my life that pretty much led to that.
Yeah.
So that journey didn't start until like 2018.
I just assumed really that you had taken classes maybe in high school and then in college kind of dove into it more deeper. Back then you weren't even touching a camera really. You
Was not touching a camera at all. I was merely focused on what was in front of me at that time, which was either, and again, I give all the credit to my father who literally is a jack of all trades. He's held every single job possible, mastered every skill. Doesn't have more than a 9th grade education. Okay. Smartest man I know. I think he instilled that quality in me where I just sort of just pick something up and just master it until I want to try something else. That was just one of the things that,
yeah,
I did.
Kind of like a go-getter mentality. It's
exactly.
And like you said, if you seem like the kind of person, if you're going to do something, you're all in.
All in.
And you bring that energy. I could feel it as soon as I met you this morning when you walked into Color Tech here. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's got good energy. I like it. That's big. Other people can feel that and I think make or break your day, really.
It's crazy that you bring that up because everyone I come across, I tell them energy is everything. It's like the energy you put out into the world, it will come back to you.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
That's why I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or anything like that, but I breathe that. I preach that. Energy is that one thing that will keep you going.
That's crazy. Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I follow you on Instagram. And I was going through some of your old posts and everything for the podcast. I try to do a little bit of research that I can on top of the job and being a new father and everything. But I saw, I guess it would be maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but you were at something with Miami Dolphins. You were doing some video stuff, maybe a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And maybe it was a little while ago now, I guess, but that caught my attention. I was like, whoa.
One of my very, very good friends, also, she's a client of mine, Andrea Ocampo, and she is, you want to talk about go-getter, she is one of them. She's one of the ones that really just has done it all. I'm not sure how she does it. I think I don't sleep already, but just viewing her life, she's done stuff with the Dolphins, with, I'm not sure what hockey team is. Was it the Lightning? I don't really follow hockey like that.
Yeah.
What is it, Tampa Bay something?
I think you're right.
Something like that. She's done stuff with WWE. Like her,
So
she does stuff with
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. The Earth Channel. Like I'm pretty sure she's in England right now doing something with the Earth Channel.
Oh, dang.
So she spreads herself so thin, but if you've ever met her or meet her, her energy is it's up
through the roof.
Yeah, it's radiant. Like she's like she'll make you smile like just by meeting her. It's like, and that's the kind of person you want to be. You want to just, anybody that comes around you, you want them to feel a little bit better after meeting you. And like that's the goal, man.
Yeah,
that's really the goal.
No, man, I'm loving it. I love the vibes today. Let's kind of take it back because you mentioned kind of the first time you picked up we'll call it a camera, but it was an iPhone. Do you remember like your first camera and when you're like, all right, let's go, I'm gonna do this? And was it the video you wanted to do first, or was it the photography? Like, what were you thinking?
We could take it back as far as right before COVID happened.
Let's do it. Okay.
Boom. So my business partner now, my mentor, one of my great friends, Jay Odell, runs Jay Odell Productions, which is a part of the company I'm part of.
Okay.
One half of it. He reached out to me. This was at a time where the Redheaded League was just opening up.
Yeah.
I was a chef there, did all their graphics, and that's right before COVID hit. So he reached out to me and he said, dude, I've been running this business for 3 years. Like I know you used to shoot for Tony, which was the personal trainer.
Right.
But I don't think he knew to the extent that I actually didn't own a camera at the time. I don't think he knew that I was shooting off of a cell phone. But I think it was more so how I connected with people and how I moved that sort of made him reach out, because he's the same way. My birthday's 12/11, his birthday's 12/12. Sagittarius.
Whoa.
It's Sagittarius. It's like we're chameleons. Like we adapt to any environment we're in, but we don't change. We're the same people. He reached out to me and was like, yeah, I need help with this business. Like how do you feel about it? I literally packed a bag next day and was gone.
Wow.
Was gone.
Yeah.
This is all in 2020. I left. I think I got there late June of 2020, which is right in the midst of COVID.
Right in it.
Right in
the heat of it.
Something in my mind, and this is the universe, like something in my mind was like, just go.
Yeah, what do you got to lose?
What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Why are you waiting? Keep living your life. And I feel like at a time, Florida never really shut down.
Yeah.
Florida don't shut down.
They're amazing.
They're still going.
They don't care.
Hurricane, they're partying. Yeah. They don't care. There's always work.
They're tough, right? Yeah.
Compared to up here, it's like instant panic, shut down everything. No money coming in.
Yeah.
Buy all the toilet paper. Shelves are cleared out. It's like
end of the world
scenario.
End of
the world.
Yeah.
So I go down to Florida and I just start watching them. We go to jobs together. Again, I don't have a camera.
Yeah.
I'm a visual person.
Where were you staying at this time?
So I moved in. I instantly moved in.
Oh, just you uprooted everything.
Everything.
Like you got an apartment or house down there and you're
everything. So he's
okay.
To this day, he's currently still my roommate. We have a studio in house, everything. So we go to these jobs. I'm watching him before a shot is even taken. I'm watching how he moves, interacts with people. I'm learning. I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's pretty much just me.
Yeah.
But with a camera. So I'm like, all right. So then I start seeing him shoot. Kid you not, this guy is incredible. Best photographer, best videographer I've ever witnessed personally.
Wow.
But I've always been a visual person. I've always been an artist in the back of my head. In college, I did a different type of art. I sculpted, painted.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Across the board. Like I did all that. So watching him was just it was a more elevated art form. And I'm like, this is wild. Like you could watch a movie, but if you pick up a camera, watch the movie again, you will see it differently.
Yeah.
Every little thing you're like, oh, they could have did that better. This
You
color
start
could
critiquing it.
Yeah, this color could have been different. Yeah, he asked me to come down, and without hesitation, I picked up and went. And that's when I sort of broke it down to him, like, I don't own a camera.
What was his reaction? Because he's seen some of your work, I assume.
I'm trying to think back then. It was like I didn't have work. There wasn't anything really posted prior to 2020 that I shot.
Wow.
If you really look back and like go back, there's nothing that I shot with a camera back then.
Yeah.
It was all off of an iPhone. So I think when you're a videographer or a photographer, it's not what you're shooting with, but how you shoot it.
Okay.
And how you see things through a different lens.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So I think he might have saw that and was like, he has something.
Yeah.
Let's run with it.
That makes sense. I totally agree because we do a lot of sports photography here. And one of the things I learned early on, like I was wearing knee pads because for sports, if you can get low, even like laying on your belly out on the field for football, basketball, it makes the athletes look more heroic. They look taller. They look bigger, more intimidating. So it's 100% like your mindset. And yeah, sure, anybody can pick up an iPhone, not so much Sony or Nikon or Canon, but, anyone can pick up an iPhone and get a decent photo, but it's the person behind the lens that really makes it, what it is.
And I think me and Odell, we try and move different from everyone else. So our shots are different. We shoot more cinematic than anything.
Okay.
Because I feel like that tells more of a story than anything that's fast paced. So you really don't know what you're looking at. People that have seen us in the field are like, you guys are legit. Like you guys move in unison. Like it's like you guys know each other's moves, and it works because any shot that he doesn't get, I get, and it works because we shoot the same way.
Yeah.
So when you go, in post and you want to edit the video, you don't miss a step, you don't miss a beat, because we shoot the exact same way. So
yeah. It's like you're covering him in case he not that he misses, but he gets a different angle. You get the the angle that you end up going
exactly.
with
So just take into effect, like let's say you're shooting a wedding, you don't want to miss a beat.
That's high pressure.
You don't want to miss a beat. So you have to know how the person you're with is shooting, and you just got to mimic that.
Yeah.
And that way everything's cohesive, and it's like
smooth.
The end product brings tears to everyone's eyes.
That's it.
That's
right.
it. That's it. That's what wedding video. That's what you want. You want to cry by the end of it.
Yeah, good crying though. Happy tears. Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah. So no, it's definitely a dance move. So now you brought in a Sony. I don't know Sony brands very well, but I know it's a high end camera. Tell me a little bit about that because you said this is your first camera, right? And how'd you get it?
So I came into this game in 2020, no camera, no equipment, no nothing, and I ended up buying, my first camera was the Sony A7 III. It's Sony A7 III. I shot it the first time, and then shout out to Xavier Jordan, his dad Cedric, super dope human being, go-getter. I surround myself with them.
Oh yeah,
Always surround yourself with people more intelligent than you, and you will never stop learning. So he, again, is another jack of all trades. He dives in every other business, masters it, and just goes with it. Cedric brought me down to his basement one time and just showed me extensive amount of equipment, and I'm like, Jesus, like this is incredible. Had me pick up an A7 III, and I started shooting with it. I don't remember exactly what I was shooting, but it just felt good in my hand. So
it felt right.
It felt right. And then I go down to Florida, and what do I know? Odell shooting with the same camera, and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it's meant to be.
Yeah, I'm like, dude. So I told him, and again, I go down to Florida with no camera, and I'm like, dude, like, what camera should I get? He was like, I have the A7 III. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I've shot with that before.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the price? I think it was like $2,500. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not paying that.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
I'm not fucking paying
for
that.
everybody out there.
That's just for the body.
Right, yeah, that's not even for the lenses, right?
It's just for the body. I'm like, dude, I ain't rich, man. Like, fuck.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's not cheap for like the listeners out there. We'll have a picture of the body, but yeah, that's just for like without the lenses, you technically can't
literally
use it.
Just the body.
Yeah,
no battery.
God,
no memory, no nothing.
Not even a battery.
I don't think the battery came with it. I could be wrong.
You're probably right.
Don't remember. I don't think the battery came with it.
So how did? Okay, keep going.
So I do that. I buy that, and then I'm trying to think. Go to Marketplace, and I'm like, all right, let me just buy one cheap ass lens, and just roll with it.
Right.
Do that. I think it was like the 24-70, which is like a basic ass shit lens.
Right, yeah, but it works.
It works.
Yeah.
It works. Does the job. So I shoot with that for like a good, 6 months to a year, and then I start incorporating my buddy's lenses that he has, which he has the 85 and
nice
16 and 35 and everything like that. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is what I'm talking about. This is more like it. If you ever shot with an 85, like an 85 millimeter lens,
I was gonna say that's like cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop, beautiful.
Yeah, because I know
detailed portrait.
Portrait, exactly. That's where my mind went right away. I'm like portrait photography, and I'm sure for video, it's similar. Like I said, I don't know much about the video aspect.
Blurs out the background.
Does it? Yeah, it's nice.
It's clean.
Okay.
And yeah, man, that's the first lens or first camera I bought. First lens I had. I have never been ungrateful in my life, so I work with what I have, always will. Because I believe you just got to stay positive. Your mindset has to just stay positive.
Yeah.
Like,
did you learn this on the fly though? Like the camera settings and everything.
Yeah, everything. So
wow. Holy cow!
I learned it myself. I think a few people tried to program it how they would use it.
Yeah.
But I'm not them.
Right.
So I left it raw. Wow. I just go. Go.
Dang.
And with shooting video and photo, shooting it is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Editing, completely different. Whole different world. I shot a 15-second video, put it in a program. Took me 9 hours.
No way.
15 seconds.
Really?
So it goes with how much space it's taking on your computer, what effects you're putting on it, audio, everything. 9 hours.
Wow. For 15 seconds?
15 seconds.
What?
So if you imagine a 3-hour movie,
oh my God,
what that takes.
I don't even want to think about it.
And it's just doing it, and then now you got to export it. Export is a whole different world.
Yeah.
Like that might take a day. Like, you don't know.
I never would have thought about that. I mean, I'm used to like Lightroom for editing photos, sports photography and stuff like that. So I know how long that can take.
Lightroom Classic.
Lightroom Classic?
Switch it out.
Yeah?
Classic's the way to go.
I got to write it down.
Yeah, Lightroom Classic.
All right. Tell me about it.
So Lightroom Classic, again, like this is all the stuff that I've just learned off of watching. I think it just has more, how do I want to put it? More
features?
More features you can use, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I've used Lightroom regular, and then I use Classic, and just something about it just made me just.
It felt right.
Yeah, it just felt good.
All right.
Like I can show you a few pictures that I've done off Classic that literally shot before coming here.
Oh, okay.
Like before I took my flight on, I think it was Thursday, I had a photo shoot at midnight.
Wow. Yeah.
Like 5 hours before takeoff.
Yeah. Wow. So you don't stop. You really don't. I want to get into some more, dive a little bit deeper.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of your mentors, who helped mold you to who you are today?
In terms of what? Just me, just my life in general? Or
Yeah, life in general. Like, I mean, some people it's like this basketball coach or this football coach. Others it's a certain teacher or, a life mentor out in the real world.
Yeah, so off rip, God.
Yeah.
100%. I grew up in a very religious household. Shout out to my parents. Father's a pastor.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Mother's in biblical school. They're both crushing it. They're just very powerful individuals. Look up to them. My best friends talk to them every day. But growing up, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Biddy Basketball, that Biddy Basketball program.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, the community was so deeply involved that you had 12 different families. So I picked up a basketball at 3. Didn't start playing until the age of 9. Was when I joined Biddy. Instantly was crushing it. 2 of my older siblings play basketball. Watched them, studied them. I'm very visual.
Yeah.
I watch you, I study you, I learn. That's it. Jumped into it. Then, you go into Biddy, you have the Coons,
Yep.
You have all these dope individuals.
Yeah.
The Bartles, and it's a community. It's like they welcome you. So I was at a time where a lot of my family never showed up to any of the games or anything that I did as an athlete because they were so busy.
Okay.
Never took offense to it. Like, I know what you do. It's cool. I'm good. So in terms of mentors, I think all my coaches growing up, which were, the Coons, the Bartles, like the Spiros.
Oh yeah.
Like the list is very extensive because they all instilled something in me that I just kept. They pushed me to be better. Whether it's coaching, whatever it is, they had me travel at a time where my parents were like, my child's not going nowhere. Like, I don't know you. They weren't around, so they had to come and convince my parents, like, your son has something. Let us take him.
Right.
Show his skills to the world, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Biddy was a huge part, man, and these coaches have coached high school and all this stuff, and they've really were a big part of my life.
They impacted a lot of
100%.
A lot of youth.
I don't think it was anything. I think they impacted my life, and I think that just trickled down to everything else I did. How they supported me was in a way that pretty much they raised me pretty much how to be a man, how to be a positive person. Because when you're surrounded by a community that literally supports you and believes in you, it's like you're getting all this positive energy coming your way through everything. You lose a game, fucking pizza party.
They still got your
It's
back.
like, like, keep your fucking head up.
Right,
Like,
keep your chin up. You're right.
Keep your head up. Like, you're good.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the biggest thing is just having people there to show up for you. Especially at that age, like in high school level, basketball, football, all that stuff. Just having like your parents there, your friends cheering you on. That's huge, especially at that age. I think 100%. It's really huge. Shout out to all. I had Adam Kuhn, his episodes coming out shortly, or will be out. Spearalls, love to get them on, and also Cedric and X. If you guys are listening, I got 2 mics now, so I'd be more than happy to have you both on. That would be interesting. I think, conversation, father-son duo there. So I wanted to also talk about, you had some work published, I think in a printed magazine, which I've never had that, so I want to get your take. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so I wish I could have brought that. So it was Sheen Magazine. So again, my partner Odell, James Johnson, one of the best photographers I know. He works with them extensively, but it was at a time where he had a job that came about, and he told me, he said, dude, I want you to take this. Like, I think you're ready for it. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't doing photo at this time.
Okay.
It was strictly videography, but I know how to take a picture.
Right.
But again, it's not just taking it. It's for a fucking magazine. You need lighting. Everything needs to be pristine, perfect. And I'm like, I'm up for the challenge, man. No problem. He asked me to take the job, and he's not there for it. So he's traveling.
Whoa.
I'm like, shit. I'm like, all right, this is real.
Yeah.
So they come in, hairstylist, makeup artists, all this stuff. And at the time, I'm like, didn't really know these people, but looking at it, hairstylist does stuff for A-list celebrities. And I'm like,
okay,
this dude's fucking in my apartment, in our studio. And I'm like, Jesus
Christ.
Like, this dude just look like this dude's one of them people.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. They have their concept. I take the photos. In my eyes, I'm like, this could be going a little bit better. It wasn't going bad.
Okay.
But it's like, for what it was, I'm like, this shit should be.
Why did you think that? Why?
Because I never did it.
Okay, right.
Because I never did it. So
that makes sense.
And it was like what I was shooting, I'm like, and I get it was for a magazine, but it's like, it wasn't an idea I created myself. So I'm just shooting for someone else's mind. You know what I mean?
I got you. Right.
And I'm like, it's cool, but it's like, I wouldn't do that. But it's for you guys. So I'm just snapping.
Just snapping, yep.
But at the end of it, I'm showing them the pictures, and their faces are lighting up. They're like, this is everything.
Good.
This is everything we wanted.
Yeah.
I'm like,
let's go. Right.
I'm holding my breath the whole time, and it's just like I exhaled. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're good then.
Big sigh of relief.
Yeah, so I waited on that, and when it got printed, I'm like I did that. Like
Yeah. That's awesome.
just everything that I went through in life prior to that, just like it was like a movie. It's like like a rewind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, everything you went through, everything you've been through, everything you go through, got you right here.
It was meant.
You're fucking looking at a photo you took,
Yeah.
printed in one of the magazines that are in every Walmart, every Target. I'm like,
That's awesome.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it's like everything happens for a reason, and everything led you to that moment.
everything. And that's how I feel about life in general. I feel like everything is written. Like you go through everything for a reason. You know, we really don't have a say in how our life transpires. It's like you roll with the punches, and how everything unfolds, it will unfold, and you just deal with it.
Oh yeah,
Just,
I believe it. I believe that. I think, like you said earlier too, if you put it out there and breathe life into it, and I'm a big Conor McGregor fan for UFC, and what I like about him is if you really look at his story, I mean, of course now he's arrogant, he's very cocky. Let's be honest,
money chasing.
He's but he started out with really nothing and worked his way up and put it out there, because there's videos of him younger saying like, I will be the champ of the UFC and all this and that. And, I'm sure back then that was like crazy talk, because he was a nobody, just some bum fighter. And now look at him, everyone knows
that's
him.
manifestation. I'm sure you did the same thing. Like, I want to do this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more you tell yourself that, the more it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what I try and do for everybody that I come across. It's like, you might work with me as a videographer for the first time and might be nervous as hell, but it's like, dude, you're good. We're going to get through this. Doesn't matter how long it takes. A camera might be in front of you, but you're not talking to a camera. You're talking to me. First time I'm meeting you, we're having a conversation. It just happens to be recording. That's it. You break that barrier, people just come alive.
That's huge.
And I think that's just the beauty of it in itself. It's having people that are so vulnerable and have such a wall built up that you as an individual have, the power to just break that down and just have them be themselves. It's like you don't have to hide behind anything.
Right.
No one's perfect. Just be you.
Exactly.
Show the world you.
It's so true. Yeah, excuse me. Because especially you mentioned the podcast here, American Grown Podcast. I was like, what are people going to think? And when I first started out, my wife was a big help, and of course my father, helped with the large American flag and just getting everything set up. And I'm like, but who really cares what people think, really? Because at the end of the day, it's your close circle, it's your family, your real close friends that really matter, their opinions. And, of course, everyone wants to be liked or like loved or whatever, but it's, at the end of the day, if you like what you're doing and you're putting out what you think is good quality work, then I don't think you're doing anything wrong. And eventually it'll catch on. That's what I think.
I mean, just keep, and again, like I said this before, it's like, I always hang around people that are more intelligent than me.
That's huge. Yeah, me too. I'm with you.
And another thing is like,
yeah,
always be around people who also carry a brick for you to help you build.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Always be around people. Doesn't matter if it's physically, mentally, emotionally. You need bricks to build.
Yeah, it's that support system.
Exactly.
I like that. I do. And like you said, surrounding yourself with smarter people, and also people that are good at different things. You know what I mean? Because you might be a great salesperson or a great photographer, videographer, but maybe you don't know the books that well, or you're not good at selling it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wanted to also ask you, because I looked on your social media, you covered a couple times, at least 2, maybe 3 times, the New York Latin Film Festival.
Yeah, HBO.
Yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, so that was another one. Jeez. The first time we were shooting for Juan Luis Guerra, which is a very famous, I want to say he's a Dominican musician. They call him like the godfather of salsa or something like that.
Oh, wow.
I have to really remember what it was, but we got hired through a third party to do the photography for this event. Again, we go in, we don't know anyone. Like, we go before the event happens, we look at the venue. It's at 1111 in Miami, in South Beach, which a lot of music videos and stuff are shot at. So we do that. Next day we come in. And again, me and my roommate, me and my business partner, we just move a different way. And I think they saw that immediately. We're everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
Like I had about 6, 7 people tell me like, how are you here every single time for this picture? It's my job.
Right.
Like I'm just moving, I'm sweating. But they'll never see it. I'm just sweating. I'm just moving.
I was gonna say from the pictures, y'all look real sharp. You dressed real sharp. Yeah, you look good.
That was before the night started. So yeah, we got hired through a third party for that, and we ended up just crushing it. And then we got hired like for the next one by HBO directly.
Whoa.
It wasn't a third party anymore. They got our number, they contacted us directly, and then we were like, we're about to do this again. So the first time was in Miami. The second time was in the Bronx. Fucking love New York, man.
Yeah.
And when we got to the Bronx, I think that hit a little bit more for me because it was at a time where I haven't seen my family in New York for over 10 years.
Wow.
So when I got there, something in my mind was like, reach out to your cousins, tell them you're in town, get them out here. Took one call, they all came, and I'm like, amazing. So I got them free entry into this event. It's for HBO. Like this is
huge.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, this is Game of Thrones HBO. This is the HBO.
So they had, I brought them in the last day where they had like this block party where they had, musicians come in to perform and all this stuff, and just seeing family there, just it did something different for me. I seen them having fun. Their faces lit up. They all have kids. It's like they all got away from their kids for a night and were just among positive energy. That was it, man. Wow. Like, I loved every second of that.
What an awesome experience. Is that something that, you think you'll get to continue, or?
I hope so. Again, you can hope for it, but I don't wait on it. I just let it just come naturally. I just keep doing what I'm doing and just let life happen.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it. And I always ask people, how did COVID affect your life and business? And I know we had talked earlier about how you picked everything up, moved to Miami. I mean, I guess technically that COVID time, without it, you might not have become who you are now.
That's a great way to put that. In terms of our business, it hasn't slowed down. I guess you could look at it in the light where when COVID happened, content became king. Nobody was outside anymore. Everything was video. Everything was Instagram. TikTok was born. Facebook blew up. Whatever it was, Twitter, whatever. Our line of business propelled because somebody needed a camera in their face for whatever it was. So, again, I don't think it slowed down. If anything, it picked up. When the world slowed down, our business picked up.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
people need that for social media. And because I remember you being here at Redheaded League, and I'm like, oh, Sammy's back there. That's awesome. And all of a sudden you were like gone. I'm like, man, I really wanted to meet this guy more and talk to him because I just known a little bit about you. You live in Miami, but how often do you come back and forth?
Like once every couple of months. Again, I'm very big on family. I try and keep close ties with all my close friends. I feel like during COVID, everybody had a baby.
Yeah.
So it was like the next trip I took up here, I'm like, dang, I got to visit like 4 babies.
Right.
Like 4 babies need to see this face.
Yeah.
Know me.
Get this energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. My bad. Can you repeat the question?
I was just wondering, like, how often do you
Yeah.
get up to visit family? Just wondering how often.
Yeah, so just every couple of months.
Yeah.
I just try and keep close rapport. I always try and stay up to date with what people are doing because again, you never know who needs you. That one text message, that one phone call, to whoever you're close with could be the difference with whatever they're going through. So I just try and just keep, close contact with everybody.
What are you really passionate about?
Just life, man. I think people just move too fast. Mm-hmm. they're just trying to get to the destination and they just don't appreciate the journey in the process. I think with me, I take a lot of pride in the journey.
Yeah.
The journey for me is everything. It's what makes you, it's what breaks you, it's what builds you, and it's where you learn the most. So for me, I'm just passionate about life. I'm passionate about breathing positivity into people. Just being a light in people's life. Like, after you meet me, my goal is for you to be better off. You might come to me bad attitude, but you will leave smiling. Guarantee that. I just try and be that person for everybody that comes across me, because you never know. All it takes is that one conversation, and it'll change the whole trajectory of your life.
Like you said earlier, you don't know what demons, other people are fighting. So that call or that text could make a huge difference, especially if you haven't seen someone in a long time. And then to be able to bring the energy, the positive vibes that you do, and, collab with others to both win, really, to both excel. Like I look at it here at Color Tech, we do commercial printing, and with clients, like if our client's doing well, then chances are that means, Color Tech's doing well. So I always want, the clients to be doing their best, and anything we can do to help them. I just think that's how it should be, in the world.
Yeah, one of those quotes that really stuck out to me was like, you treat the janitor the same way you treat the CEO.
Yes.
Because you never know who you're going to come across. They might be dressed down, but they could be a billionaire. You don't know.
Exactly.
And that one, again, energy is everything. So off of just meeting, your energy is going to radiate off of you, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, and people will feel it. So anytime you're around me, positivity will just be glowing. And it's like, you're going to feel good. I could be making a fool of myself, but if you're smiling from across the room, I did my job. Like, you could be having the worst time, but you look this way and you see me, you're like, all right, this guy's having a good time. Like, what am I so mad about?
Right. Exactly. My grandfather, he's 84 years old, and he always said the same thing. Whether it's the person holding the front door, the janitor, treat them as if they own the company or they're the CEO, because you never know. That receptionist, that could be the wife of the owner. So it's always be respectful, and treat people as you'd want to be treated.
Exactly.
So I agree 100%. Now, how can our listeners connect with you and follow along on your journey?
Yeah, so straight through Instagram pretty much. I mean, or you could just find me on Facebook, but Instagram is _always_forward. Again, another saying I live by. It's like, move one step at a time, but always forward.
Okay.
Never take a step back.
I was wondering, I was going to ask you, I was like, what is always forward?
Yeah, move one step at a time, but always forward. Only fools trip over stuff that's behind them.
Ooh.
So just keep trucking along.
Keep moving. One step at a time.
Exactly. Yeah. Roll with the punches and just do it like that. But again, I'm only on Instagram and Facebook. So Facebook is just Samuel Diaz. I'm sure you'll find me.
Yeah. If anybody wanted to hire you, is that an option?
Yeah, of course. You could go on www.jodellproduction.com. That's JODELL production. We do the best work.
There you go. I like it.
We do the
perfect.
best work.
So before we close out, is there anything else you'd like the listeners to know about yourself?
Not necessarily about myself, but just no dream is too big. Just keep rolling with it. It might be tough now, but everything's meant to happen for a reason. I think if you just continue to just push past it and just keep breathing positivity into your life, you can reach any goal you want.
Get after it. Sammy Diaz on the American Grown podcast in the Color Tech Creative Solutions Studios. Thank you for joining me.
I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Sammy. Appreciate you making the trip.
Of course.
To see photos of today's guests and more content, just search American Grown Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review.
If you'd like to be a featured guest on the podcast, please direct message or email Austin at americangrownpod@gmail.com.